discover the hidden message behind the Kohanim's behavior during Sukkos in the Beis Hamikdosh. In this video, we're going to discover how the Kohanim took painstaking care during the time of Sukkos and how it offers us a powerful message that we can incorporate into our own lives. Join me as we unravel the deep significance behind the behavior and the avodah of the Kohanim in the Beis Hamikdosh and how we can apply those lessons that we learn from them in our daily routines. You are not going to want to miss out on this unique opportunity. So I've just created this diagram to help us along, and before we get into the Mishnah, let's just have a look at a quick introduction into what's going on over here. The Kohanim were divided into 24 groups to perform the avodah. So each group would serve 1 week on a rotating basis. After 24 weeks, the cycle will be repeated. However, on the Yomim Tovim, although the daily avodah was still done by the current week's group, the avodah of the Korban mussaf was shared by all the groups, all 24 groups. And I need you to keep the following in mind in order to better understand our Mishnah. The number of bulls went down by 1 each of the 7 days, from 13 on the first day all the way down to 7 on the 7th day. So each day those bulls were diminishing, they were going down in number, but the following were always the same on all 7 days of Sukkot. There was always 2 rams, there was always 1 he-goat, and there were always 14 lambs, which we're going to look at very closely in our Mishnah and our diagram as well. So starting off the Mishnah, Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag, the first day of Sukkos. Hayasham Shlosha Asa Parim. There were 13 bulls. Eilim Shnayim, 2 rams, v'sa'ir echad, and 1 he-goat. Nishtayru Sham Arba Asa Kvasim, lambs. There remained 14 lambs, l'shmoina mishmaris, for 8 groups out of the 24 groups of Kohanim. On the first day we had 13 bulls, we had 2 rams, 1 he-goat, and 14 lambs. That added up to a total of 30 offerings. So if there are 13 offerings and there's only 24 groups, that means 6 groups are left over that they could actually offer, and they actually need to offer an extra lamb to use up all of the 14 lambs. So that would work out, because we've got 6 extra groups, 30 minus 24, 6 would offer 2 lambs each, so 6 times 2 is 12, but we've got to get to 14. So 14 left with out of 12 that were done, we're left with 2 over, so 2 groups would offer 1 lamb each. Let's see that in the words. Bayom Harishon, on the first day, Shisha Makrivin, there were 6 that offered up, Shnayim, 2 lambs each. V'hasha'ar, and the rest, echad. So if we had 6 times 2, we said was 12, but we've still got 2 more to get to 14. V'hasha'ar refers to the other 2 groups, and that adds up to the 8 groups that we just said before. We said it over here, Nishtayru Sham Arba Asar Kvasim, lambs, l'shmoina mishmaris, for 8 groups. So that was the breakdown of the 8 groups over here. 6 did 2 and 2 did 1. 6 times 2 is 12 and 2 times 1 is 2, which is a total of 14. If we look at that in the diagram again, we had 6 times 2 over here, which is 12, and 2 times 1 is 2. That's a total of 14 lambs. Bashani, on the second day. So before we deal with the second day, let's just have a quick look at our diagram for that. On the second day, there were 12 bulls, 2 rams, 1 he-goat, and 14 lambs, adding up to 29 offerings. 29 minus 24 meant there were 5 groups still left over. So they needed to do the extra lamb to get to our 14 lambs. So these 5 groups would do 5 times 2 is 10. So we've got 4 lambs left that are not yet done. So we give that to 4 other groups to get to 14 lambs. Let's have a look at this in the words of the Mishnah. Chamisha makrivim shnayim. 5 would offer 2 lambs each, so 5 times 2 is 10. We're left with 4, v'sha'ar echad, and the rest, meaning the other 4 groups of Kohanim, would offer 1 each. So that's 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 times 1 is 4. 10 and 4 make 14. We can see that over here, 10 and 4 will add up to the 14 lambs. So going on to the third day now. In our diagram, we're down. And if we look over here as well, you can see that the bulls are going down from 13 bulls to 12 bulls, and now on the third day to 11 bulls. They're diminishing till we get to the seventh day, where there will only be 7 bulls left. So that adds up to a total of 28. We're out by 4 again out of 28 offerings. Out of the 24 groups, 4 groups would have to double over for an extra lamb to get the total of 28 offerings. So 4 groups did 2, which is 8, and we're still left with another 6 missing, because 14 minus 8 is 6, so 6 would do 1. So the numbers are 4 would do 2 to get to 8, and 6 would do 1 lamb each to get to 6, which 8 and 6 are 14. Let's have a look at that in the words. So b'shlishi arba makrivim shnayim shnayim, 4 would offer 2 each, so that's 4 times 2 is 8. V'hasha'ar, and 6 offer 1 each, and we can see that over here as we just said. So going on to the fourth day, so that was 10 bulls. Now it's gone down again from 11 to 10, 2 rams, 1 he-goat, and 14 lambs. So now we're up to 27 offerings as they're getting less, and we're still out by 3 to offer the full 27, because we've only got 24 groups. So they would offer up an extra lamb each. So 3 times 2 was 6 lambs, and we're still from the, after 6 you've got 14, we're still left with another 8, so 8 groups would offer up another 8 lambs. So 3 did 2 and 8 did 1, and we can see that in here. Shlosha makrivim shnayim shnayim, 3 would offer up 2 lambs each. V'hasha'ar, and another 8 would offer up 1 each to give us the 14 lambs. B'chamishi, on the 5th day, looking at the 5th day now in our diagram, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 1 he-goat, and 14 lambs. That's 26 offerings. Subtract that from 24 groups. We have 2 remaining groups that need to do an extra lamb. So now we're down to 2 times 2. 2 groups would do 2 sets of lambs each. That's giving us 4, and 10 would have to do another 1 lamb each to add up to the total of 14. So the numbers here were 2 to 2, and 10 did 1. And over here, b'chamishi, on the 5th day, shnayim makrivim shnayim shnayim, 2 would offer 2 lambs each, that's 4. V'hasha'ar, and 10, echad echad, would offer 1 each. Now onto the 6th day. On the 6th day, we had 25 offerings in total, so we've got 1 remaining group extra, because 25 minus 24, they would do 1 extra lamb each, and the rest would do 12 times 1, they would offer up 1 lamb each. So it's 1 doing 2 and 12 doing 1, and we can see that here. Echad makriv shnayim, 1 would do 2 lambs, v'hasha'ar echad echad, and the rest, that's 12, would do 1 each. And now onto the 7th day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 1 he-goat, and 14 lambs. That's a total of 24. No groups remaining. All the groups did all 14 lambs. The 14 groups would do 14 lambs each to add up to the total of 24 offerings. In the words by Shvi, Kul, and Shavin, on the 7th day they're all equal, and they would offer up 14 lambs. Bashmini, on the 8th day, which is considered a separate Yom Tov on Sukkos from the first 7 days, on Shmini Atzeres, Chosra Lapais, they would return to the lottery like they did Kibbur Golim, like on festivals. They would have a lottery to decide which group are going to offer up offerings for Yom Tov. If we go over here in the Bartanura, Bashmini Chosra Lapais, on the 8th day, they would return to the lottery Kibbur Golim, like the festivals. Par echad ayel echad v'shiva kvasim. And the reason we went back to the lottery system, because we certainly didn't have enough offerings for all the groups. It was 1 bull, 1 ram, v'shiva kvasim, and 7 lambs. So that was 1, 2 plus 7 is 9, and there was a chatos as well. So they only had 9, 10 offerings. So they didn't have enough offerings for all the people in the groups. Shekrovin b'shmini, they offered it up on the 8th day. Ein krovin keseder at karbonis achad. They are not offered up like the order of the karbonis of the festival. Lefi seder hamishmaris, according to the order of the groups. like they had this rotational order of different groups offering up different offerings every day. But all the groups would come on the Yomim Tovim on the other days, on the 8th day as well, and they would make a lottery on who gets it, like they do lotteries on other festivals. And this lottery system is explained in the first chapter of Yuma. Amru, they said. And now we're going back to dealing with the 7 days of Sukkos again. Mi shehikriv parim hayoim, anyone that offered up bulls today, lo yakriv lamachar, would not offer up on the following day, but they would go back to their routine of what they were designated to do. They had a routine to make it as fair as possible, that they either had 2 or 3 opportunities each group to offer up a bull. The bull was very chashuv. There was a lot of people involved in this avodah, and therefore if you offered up a bull today during one of the days of the 7 days of Sukkos, you couldn't offer one tomorrow, because we wanted to spread it out and make it fair for everyone. So we've learned that in the times of the Beis Hamikdosh, there were 24 groups that served in the Beis Hamikdosh throughout the year. Every week there was a different group there, but during the festival of Sukkot, all 24 of them served together at the same time in the Beis Hamikdosh. However, the number of bulls in the Beis Hamikdosh would decrease each day by 1. There were 13 on the first day, going down to 7 on the 7th day. So the total number of sacrifices they offered were going down each day, right up to the 7th day. To ensure that everybody would have a fair go at doing the avodah in the Beis Hamikdosh and the honor of serving, the mussaf offering was divided up among all 24 groups on different days to ensure that no one was left out and everybody was able to have the honor and merit of serving in the Beis Hamikdosh. The offerings included 2 rams, 1 he-goat, and 14 lambs, besides the bulls that were offered each day. Each one of the 24 groups would have the opportunity during the 7 days to offer twice or 3 times during that whole period of time. They would be able to offer up those bulls. This was to make sure that things should be as fair as possible, that everyone can participate in the offering of those sacrifices. Because on the 8th day, which is really a separate Yom Tov, there weren't anywhere near as many sacrifices on the day, they reverted back to the lottery system where they drew lots to see who would win the opportunity to serve in the Beis Hamikdosh on that day, the mussaf offerings. And this was the same on other festivals as well, where they would draw a lottery to see which group could offer up the mussaf offerings in the Beis Hamikdosh. One powerful lesson that we can take from this Mishnah is the importance of fairness and inclusivity in all our communal practices, group practices, friends, social situations, whatever. We don't want to leave anyone out. The Kohanim who were responsible for the avodah in the Beis Hamikdosh had in place a special system that they created to make sure that all groups, all 24 of them, had an equal opportunity in offering up karbonos in the Beis Hamikdosh. And that was despite the fact that the number of bulls on Sukkos would be going down lower and lower each day. This system allowed all groups to participate and have the joy and fulfillment in serving in the Beis Hamikdosh. And it ensured that no group was left out or disadvantaged. So the lesson that we can learn to incorporate in our own lives is a very simple one. Even if we might be lacking in the resources or diminishing the karbonos like they did in the times of the Beis Hamikdosh, we still have to go through painstaking effort to make sure to include the others in whatever activities we're doing. It could be a social event, it could be a party, it could be a game, it could be anything. It could be a conversation. Don't leave the other person out. Let's make an effort and decide that I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open for the others that could be left out and include them in the game, the conversation, whatever it is. So that way next time when you organize something or you're part of something, you'll ensure that no one gets left behind. Today I would like to dedicate this Mishnah to Rabbi Dr. Pinchover, who actually taught this Mishnah and made it really, really simple for me to understand. He, besides being a medical doctor, Rabbi Dr. Pinchover happens to be a brilliant Torah teacher who takes the complicated things and makes it really simple. Hashem should bench him and his family and Me'ah V'Esrim Shana with only good things for the future. Thank you so much, Rabbi Dr. Pinchover.